consumers as you play an active role in helping in the sustainable management of our water resources. This morning I have with me, my name is Cromwell Williams, I'm the manager, water engineer. I have with me in the studio this morning two of my colleagues. I will allow them now to introduce themselves and to say briefly what role they play in the Water Services Department.
Good morning, listeners. My name is Mikhail Isaac. I'm the new assistant engineer at Water Department.
Good morning, radio listeners. My name is Ian Francis. I'm the inspector of pumps, electrical at Water Services Department.
Thank you, gentlemen. Just to add that Mr. Isaac is on the job just about a month, and I thought I would bring him in this morning because as a new employee in the Water Services Department, he is a civil engineer by training, and civil engineers, part of our training includes, of course, water systems, the management, design, management, and operations of water systems. And he's a young engineer, about 3 years out of university, I believe.
Yeah.
He has spent those 3 years working in facilities maintenance with the Ministry of Education. And we thought it an opportune time to bring him over into the water department as part of, succession planning and part of the expansion in our human resources that are necessary for us to continue to provide a reliable service. So, Mr. Isaac,
Yes.
1 month on the job, what can you tell the public? How has your first month been working in water department?
As the new assistant engineer with responsibility for operations, which deals with things like production and distribution, I almost feel like I kind of been thrown to the deep end because it is such a different appreciation I have, not only for water, but the work done at the water department. The magnitude and the scope of managing water when it comes to identifying problems is so paramount, I find. For instance, you could have an issue where the issue could be at a motto at a pump station, which is 120 feet underground, to a problem that is at the water source, which requires a 500-foot hike. And so I really have a different appreciation for all the work that is done in this department.
Thank you, Mr. Isaac, and we'll hear a bit more from you, but I thought it was important that we give to our consumers, the public, a different perspective than that of the seasoned persons like myself. So I imagine it has been an eye-opening experience for you, because when I myself, you go to university and you learn a lot of theoretical stuff about water. But then it's only when you come on the job that you really start to learn the practical aspect of what really is involved,
Yep.
what a valve is and how it actually works, and and the fire hydrants and the importance of where you site a reservoir, and the size of the reservoir, the pipelines that connect the reservoirs to persons' homes, and
Right.
and so many intricacies. So, like I said, you're still learning the practical aspects, and then you would bring to bear the theoretical disciplines that you would have learned. But in terms of, one of the things we always push in the water department is the importance of conservation. the wise usage of water. What have you picked up so far in terms of the quantity of water and how we ought to treat water?
Well, as a resident of Keyon, I'm sort of victim and villain in this case. But so I've always had the ability to conserve the water at home, but knowing now the storage capacities of the water tanks and the different methods of how the water in different communities gets distributed, it is very important that we really practice proper water conservation at home. For me, I try not to allow the water to run too long or take shorter showers, but it really is a case where the management of this water is so precious because there's really not that much water available right now, at least from my experience this month. So we really should practice water conservation.
Okay, let me ask you a quick question. You said you're from Keyon. Have you been to the Keyon water source yet since you came on board?
Yes, I had the opportunity to hike to Green Hill.
What was your experience visiting the Green Hill source?
It almost mirrored my hiking at Mount Lyamiga, what's it called? Lawyer Stevenson's cave, all those different hikes. It was quite an arduous journey. It was wet. You have the slippery stones. You have the different hiking elevations. It was quite a hike.
Okay, one of the question that the public, sorry, sometimes echo, sorry, is that perhaps we need to capture more water at these sources. What was your perception in terms of that at the Green Hill source?
At the Green Hill source, well, you could observe there how the water flows from the mountain straight into the catchment. I don't think there's any issue with how the water is being caught. It's just really the availability of the rainwater that flows naturally through the system, which is how we managed to distribute that to people in Keyon, and I think it's St. Peter's, some areas in St. Peter's.
Okay. All right. Yes, there may be times when you have real heavy rain that there would be some overflow, some spillage, but I can assure the public, and I'm sure you can, that that is very few and far in between. 95% or more of the times we're capturing all and as much as possible of the water that can be captured.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, as we have said to the public, sorry, the way forward for us is to develop more and more of our well water. Mr. Francis, you dwell mainly in that area of our operations, dealing with the groundwater, the pumps. How many pumps do we have approximately?
We have about 46, because there are 46 wells, but about 26 to 30 active wells that we are using island-wide right now.
Okay. So we have about 26 also active. There's some that are inactive.
Yes.
What are the reasons why they're inactive?
Well, some are inactive because, okay, in instance we have one in Parsons that is inactive. The reason for it is that the water is a little heavy and salty, and we
brackish.
Brackish. We do not want to give people brackish water.
Okay.
We want to meet the standards of drinking water.
So once it doesn't meet drinking water standards, whether it's World Health Organization or the US EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, or whatever standard you want to use, if you want to use a European standard, it doesn't matter what standard you use. They're pretty similar. But once it doesn't meet international standard for potable water, such wells would not be put in operation. Yes. Right, so there's a question I want to ask you, Mr. Francis. Why are we still rationing during the rainy season? Now we're in the rainy season. Generally, the first half of the year is the dry season, the second half of the year is the rainy season. What can you tell the public about in terms of rainfall pattern this year so far, and how that relates to why are we still rationing even though we're in the rainy season?
Reason why we are rationing is because even though we're in the rainy season, we are not getting much rainfall, and most of our water depends, well, all of our water depends on rainfall. Whether it's groundwater or surface water, it depends on the rainfall. So we are rationing because we're not getting much rain compared to previous years where we were getting more rain. The rainfall is being less every year and every year. So we have to put rationing in place so that we can have our consumers get water at appropriate times.
Right. So, yeah, we have seen the data. We have seen the data in terms of the rainfall. There's some information, data that is shared with us from the Met Office at the RLB, International Airport, the Met Office. They share the data with us, and we have seen that this year has been a very dry year. Drier than last year and much drier than the long-term average. It's about, so far up to September, we have gotten about 60% of the rainfall that we typically get over the long term. And I think it's about 69-70% of last year. So, you know, we want the public to understand that at the end of the day, the water department does not manufacture water. Our water comes from rain. We capture the rainfall. Well, Mother Nature assists us in capturing it in the hills, in the mountains, and we also dig wells to capture that which is flowing beneath our feet on the ground. And that is the source of our precious water. The potable water that comes to your tap comes from the rain. And we are seeing decrease in rainfall this year, and we have seen decrease in rainfall over the last 10 years, between 2010 and 2020 roughly. We have seen about an 18% decrease in rainfall. That is very troubling to us at the Water Services Department. If that pattern were to continue, we will be fast becoming more and more dependent on desalination, because it simply means that we would not have enough potable water based on the rainfall that we're receiving. So in terms of we would want to open the line, right, GQ? Anyone who wants to call in? If there are any callers who wants to join in the discussion, any questions that are pressing on your mind, feel free to give us a call. So we just want to give. Okay, good morning, caller. Welcome to the Water Line.
Hi, morning everyone on the panel there.
Good morning.
I'm just listening to the program here. I'm just curious as to what is the water department doing about building new catchments to catch this rainfall instead of us having to depend on desal plants. I'll listen off here.
Thank you very much for your question. Building new catchments. That question is, what do you mean by building new catchments? We have tapped into the surface sources or catchments since way back before the 1970s. Wingfield, Stoneford, Franklands, Green Hill, even Lodge we get a small amount from. Phillips. These are the sources that we can get usable quantity of water from. There is some of that were used before, like Belmont, and here in Bastia, we have one or two. The amount of the trickle of water that you get from these sources, it makes no practical economic sense to trek miles up into the mountain to get 5, 10, 15, 20 gallons per minute, when you can drill a well that can give you 10 times that, 20 times that. So when you say catchment, the catchment has been and will continue to be the wells. We cannot go into the mountain to get new water. It's not there. It's a myth. So anytime you think of how are we going to increase our water supply to meet the growth in demand from the population, it is groundwater. It is more wells. That is our catchment. The water is in the ground. When it rains, the amount of water that soaks into the ground is 20 times what runs off on the surface. If you think of the northeastern part of the island, when you leave, say, Tabernacle, go all the way around to back round to Sandy Point, when last you saw one of those guts run? It rains in the mountain, the water goes into the ground. And so that is why we have to drill the wells to extract that water from the ground. So that is where the catchments are, on the ground, not on the surface. So I hope that clarifies for that caller and for anyone else in the public who might have such questions. Our future is continuing to develop our groundwater, and there will always come a point where we will exceed what we can get from the ground, and we will have to turn to desalination, as in the case of Bastia. We have a caller.
Hello, good
Caller, good morning. Welcome to the water line.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Mr. Williams and your deputy.
Good morning.
Welcome to the fall there, my boy.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, I know you, but you sound kind of sound. And the mere fact you say you go hiking all up in Green Hill and all of that, that is good.
Thank you very much.
But I want to maybe make a comment or two or ask one or two questions. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
Yes, the sugar factory in particular used to have a well at Shadwell.
Yes.
But they only used to use it during the crop period.
Right.
Because they used to get water from, their main water supply used to be from Green Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Come down to St. Peter's, etc., etc.
That's correct.
Very nice drinking water. And well, after a while, things seem to happen. I know for sure that in the vent system took water over to here and so forth. I know exactly what I'm saying. But my thing though, what has happened to the well at Shadwell? Can it still be used? Is not efficient enough? Whatsoever. And also, it was stated here that one of the wells at Patton, the water is salty and maybe heavy and all of that. But can the water be treated? That's true. But I'll just make a comment. Other people usually call in and say, we want more catchment. But they don't seem to understand the way the country is laid out. And when water is coming from the rivers or guts, the kind of guards that you have up in some of them, they don't seem to understand that. The geography of the country. And then again, same case, it's a small island. So we're going to get capacity to do a number of things when they're building houses all over the place, in my way. To me, not in the way I think they should. So, but, and you said that you had a decrease in rainfall, I think you said, for about 60% for a period dating back to the same period last year, whenever. But then I noticed where you said, did you have an increased demand for water in spite of that. That's it for now. Another time.
Thank you. You have another caller? Okay. Caller, good morning. Welcome to the Waterline.
Hello, good morning to you. Being panel, good topic. Now what happened to us? We a little 30, 16 square mile, you know what happened to us? The people who were put in charge on the white man time, now, that is what humbug the country. You do your phone, because you're younger than me still. We had water in Goloa. We also got water in Goloa. As a waterman, don't take it from me. Go out down and you see a lot of pond, the poison out. A lot of pond from, take it from Canada there. We put it out the plantation now, the black thing. Go way down to Connery. Go way over. Last one they use up there with coke oil, gone there, because of money the person wants in the pocket. And make yourself forget the pants to go in up to see a big brown pan over there, sell it up. That was for water. I didn't even know till I heard somebody saying that the pan, not the pan alone, the pan them goes to generate water. After mom. You won't know. Your mom made me all like maybe a little younger than me still. In the days in the 60s, rain fall sometimes 3-4 times a week if you ain't wash and guard your clothes. A little sun will come out trying to dry them, they get wet back down. Go way over now, the Collins there. Go over that big one there we sell to some hotel again the other day. All because of greed and money, they poison the pan. So they're going to put Labone in there and go over further now. And the strip, not on the strip, but over the highway there. The same Collins there. Go over. They got them boots and so on. Look to the back. Don't take it from me. Maybe the people say, I know what me say. Look to see one Sunday I drive up to a certain place to go up on a hill with some houses bleak. They had fun there too. And next the last fan me witness now, poison out. Me and a friend went over there by Monkey Bar a couple months ago. I see one big fan there poison out. It's them killed the fan. That's why we ain't got no water. We had water in Golo. You know what I'm now? I just look out in the east there, the same peninsula. And I see a crowd. You want to come to town? No way. So we followed the country was good. We let the white man say, oh, you got to kill out some of the pond to get your sugar crop grow, yes. But you kill out AWR and you have a good day, yes, and you know how to play the young to look at family maybe you take care. You don't worry where you could catch when you come up put out to drum and catch. The big people, I must say, they're high educated, well educated from Mr. Doug Timmer, from Mr. Blacker come down. As he look like he poison out nearly 3/4 of the pants of me had. So you have no worry, no drop none in the hole, no. But I go dig no well and dig no to please nobody. That was how we pan. When he start up, he move the cloud and the rain come down and they gone to the Wednesday. Them people who go nothing, and them come to the man in Trinidad, and them killing things. So they brought me now went down Cambridge, no Oxford, and me no that deal. Then I no call out no here, him don't want the water to please the wing.
Okay, thank you, caller. I think we're just about out of time. We got off to a late start this morning, but we're still grateful that we had the opportunity to share with you. Basically, just want to give a brief update in terms of one or two initiatives that are ongoing. We have indicated to you that with regards to Bastia, how do we intend to meet the future demands, well, present and future demand. We are still proceeding with our plans for the construction of a 2 million gallons per day desalination plant in Bastia. That project is already signed off on, and we're just in the early stages of actual implementation, purchasing of basically the plant, we expect that the actual works for the construction of this plant will start definitely, I would say, early next year, and would probably take maybe somewhere around maybe 6 to 9 months, depending on how we're able to obtain the materials. The Keon well, I know some persons have many questions. They notice that no activity is going on there at the moment. We are waiting some parts and materials to complete that well, and I am still optimistic that that well will actually come online before the end of this year. So we're still working on that. We are also facing some challenges currently on the Southeast Peninsula, and we are working to try and overcome those. We know that our customers over in the Southeast Peninsula have been experiencing some inconvenience, but we are trying our best to have that matter resolved. In terms of the Lodge reservoir, we are constructing a new 100,000 gallon storage reservoir for Lodge, and that is in the works. The request for tenders should be going out anytime now, and we're hoping that we can perhaps even have that started before this year ends. So I will pause there for today, and I would want to thank you again for joining us on the Waterline. Feel free to contact us. Our numbers are 467 1447. In terms of faults, emergency, you can contact us at 465-8000 or just 141. We have a 24-hour emergency operators. Yes, 24 hours emergency operation center. You can call with your faults at 141 or 465-8000. Thank you, colleagues, and thank you, members of the public, for joining us today on the Waterline, and we hope to see you on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of each month. That's the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of each month from 10:30 to 11. Good day.
Thank you.
Water is life, 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 life. Water is life, 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 life. Do just one thing,
Every drop count. Make sure you check for leaks around your house every day. Every drop count. When brushing your teeth, don't let the water run away.